Welcome everyone to la chaîne géopolitique. So we'll review all the major geopolitical issues before President Biden comes into power on 20th of January, so within 8 days right now. So there are quite a wide range of geopolitical issues at very high stake right now. So we'll all of them we will review them. We will start today with the Iranian issue, which will be probably the main challenge in terms of foreign policy for President Biden within the first days in his is in office. So we will talk about it because there has been a lot of development on the Iranian issue. So as you know, President Trump withdrew in May 2018 from the Vienna Agreement on the nuclear issue called also JCPOA. So he unilaterally withdrew from this agreement, leaving only the rest of the party part of this agreement. But President, we know that the President Biden he would like just that US be back to this agreement. However, there are still a lot of challenges ahead of a possible, over a possible decision of President Biden to be back to this agreement, due to the fact that over the last days, Iran has decided to withdraw from its commitment on the nuclear agreement. So, according to this agreement, the enrichment capacity of Iran is at 3.67%. However, Iran has already breached this agreement last year in 2019, when he decided to enrich at 4.5%. However, on 4th of January of this year, so just last week, the Iranian authority decided to enrich at not only at 4.5%, but at 20%. Still, 20% is, according to experts, is still not enough to produce this nuclear weapon. However, because you need an enrichment at the level of 90% of the fissile material, so 20% still it's not possible, but it could be still the first step to the quest of the 90%. So that's why there is still a lot of concern based on this announcement of the Iranian authorities. So we can raise the question first, why now? Why the Iranian authorities have decided to breach in such a way so substantially the Vienna Agreement that Iran is still part, despite the American withdrawal, Iranian has decided to remain in the Vienna Agreement. So first of all, why now? So as we said, it comes only just a couple of days before that President Trump's leave his office and the new president comes into power. So a president which could be probably much more receptive to the Iranian, objections. So how come Iran decided just now to defy the new the President Biden and perhaps also President Trump? So we can actually read this decision probably due to the fact that during the term of President Trump, Iran was very afraid of the, the lack of predictability of President Trump, who is so the fact that President Trump was quite unpredictable person was very difficult for Iran, to breach substantially due to the risk of a very high retaliation, from the United States. So now that President Trump is about to leave, they feel much more free, to breach substantially in order to gain some leverage over the next negotiation, because negotiation will probably open within the next weeks. So in order to gain, let's say, some strength over those negotiations, Iran try, let's say to gain, let's say, some momentum, to gain some strength in order to negotiate better terms of this agreement, because it's also not clear exactly what are the intention of President Trump, because even though President Trump wants to come back to this agreement, it's still unclear whether he wants the same agreement that has been signed in 2015, or he wants also to include some other issues, such as the ballistic missiles, because some other party of this agreement, namely Germany, through the German Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which declared a couple of days in the German newspaper Die Zeitung that Germany would like to integrate, to include, to encompass the ballistic missile issue, and so this agreement should be in another format than the one which has been signed in July. But for Iran, it should be clear that it's a red line to talk about ballistic missiles. The agreement should only concern the nuclear weapon and not any other issue. So, I mean, that's why it's still unclear whether President Biden will insist on, on talking and including the ballistic missile issue, or he will just focus on the nuclear issues, like he did in 2015 when he was vice president. So still, that question remains unanswered about the format of the agreement. So that's why Iranian, even though they are pleased that President Trump are leaving the office, also are quite also a bit also concerned about the intention of the United States and the rest of the party, like Germany, whether Germany, for example, could block a possibility that the same agreement could, be the same agreement that 2015 could just be reimposed, could be re-implemented with the participation of the United States. That's why the supreme guide of Iran, Sheikh Ali Khamenei, insisted that Iran is only interested in lifting, that the sanction be lifted, and whatever there is agreement or not, we are only interested in lifting sanctions. That's why, because Iran is also very realistic, that it could take some time to get maybe an agreement. But we should keep also in mind that the time frame is very short, because in June, new presidential election will be held in Iran, and in case there is no agreement and sanctions are still in place, it's very likely that conservatives, that let's say hardliners, will win those presidential elections in June. So when we talk about hardliners, keep in mind that we are talking about people like for example, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, who won election in 2005. So such type of hardliner could come back to power in Iran. So in this case, it will be the final blow, if you like, for the possibility to get an agreement with Iran. So that's why, in case if President Trump would like an agreement, he needs to find it, to get it by those presidential elections. So it means by June. So it means that he has only, let's say, 3-4 months to find an agreement with Iran. So we see that there is a little window opportunity to President Biden to find an agreement. So that is the main challenge when he will arrive to power, because tensions are also very high in the region, not only due to the nuclear issues, not only because of the ballistic issues, but also because of the fact that there is ongoing tension between Saudi Arabia and the Houthi rebels, which has been today designated as a terrorist entity by US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Those sanctions have to should come into effect on 19th of January, so beginning, meaning on the eve when President Biden takes office on 20th of January. So it's clearly a challenge that has been brought by US Secretary of State to his successor, whether he will maintain those, let's say, those designation of terrorists, which entails for sure sanctions. So it means any parties who would like to trade with Houthi will be under US sanctions. So there is a very high risk that for example, humanitarian agencies, which are part either from UN or let's say Red Cross, could now potentially stop their humanitarian operation and let's say worsen, let's say, the dire humanitarian situation, which could bring not only a starvation but clearly a famine in the region, which has not yet been declared, but also this designation could clearly push the region on the brink of famine. That's why there is a lot of concern about this decision. It could have very dramatic repercussions. The decision today of U.S. Secretary of State. So why now exactly U.S. Secretary of State Pompeo decided to bring those sanctions against Houthi? Because it's clearly it's part of the maximal pressure of policy of President Trump against Iran. And also, Pompeo knew also that this decision could have a dramatic effect, and still he didn't want to take such a decision earlier. But now, clearly, due to the fact that he leaves office, he feels much more free to take such a decision, which could have clearly an impact on negotiation, because right now we cannot imagine the Saudi authorities negotiating with terrorists. So it means also the end of negotiation, and let's say ultimately and consequently, as a consequence of that, it could hostilities could resume, and again we could see over the next days, or over the next week, Houthis launching missiles towards the Saudi territory, due to the fact that now they have nothing to lose and that the humanitarian situation could worsen. Missiles could be launched to the Saudi territory and could again, let's say, inflame the region, and again the new war, let's say, escalation between Saudi Arabia and Houthi is now looming. And also, not to, despite all those gloomy news, there is also still a possibility also of a war between Israel and Iran over the final days of the Trump administration, according to the Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif, who wrote over the last week, precisely on 3rd of January, he wrote that due to the fact that on 3rd of January we commemorated the first anniversary of the assassination of Saddam Hussein and of the head of Hasham al-Shaibi. He wrote exactly that. New intelligence from Iraq indicate that Israeli agent provocateurs are plotting attacks against Americans. So we see that the region is on alert, especially Iranian authority on alert that Israeli could try to provoke a war between US and Iran. So that's why the region is on alert, because probably the Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu, would like to use, let's say, the final days of the Trump administration to, let's say, to launch, let's say, a flash war, a quick war against Iraq, probably trying to bomb the Fordo nuclear facility, where where the enrichment at 20% that we have just talked earlier in this video will resume over the next days. So probably Israel knows that it's the ultimate moment. There is like it is a final moment, let's say, to bring such attack, because when President Biden will take office, he will not support Israel, and Israel will not have this, if you like, military cover in case there is Iranian retaliation against Israel. So if they right now Israel understands that there is a very unique window opportunity that will not again reappear before at least 4 years at least, and so that probably Prime Minister Netanyahu, which is in right now in campaign for the legislative election in Israel, probably understands that it's now or never if they want to attack Iran, because probably, according to Israeli, Iran could be in possession of the nuclear weapons over the next years. So clearly, they would like to use the final days of President Trump to attack Iran, and that's why Mohammed Javad Zarif, let's say, warned the international community about a possible war between Israel and Iran. So that's why we will continue to follow the development in the region during those final days of the Trump administration.